Hey friends, welcome to Creative X. My name is Brad Hussey and I'm a web designer. Today we're talking to Karen Sokolow of Awaken Studio. And we're going to be discussing all sorts of awesome and fun things that you are going to want to listen to, such as productizing your services, a work-life balance, building a business that serves your ideal lifestyle, getting clients, referrals. I mean, it's all here. It's really exciting. So stay tuned, listen up, and let's go. Hey Karen, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Where are you based?
So I'm based 30 minutes north of Tel Aviv. Yeah, in Israel. So I've been here for about 3 years.
So pretty late right now then, hey?
Yeah, 5, almost 6 o'clock, but you know, sun's still shining, super humid.
That's so great. So, okay, so you're in Tel Aviv, and what brought you there?
It's a long story, but we can do the shorter version.
Sure.
I essentially decided to become a digital nomad about 3.5 years ago, and I was living in New York prior to that, and I was like, yeah, not all my friends, but I had some friends who are digital nomads living in Costa Rica, living in all these parts of the world, and I was so envious of them, and I was like, wait, I work online, I can totally do this work wherever. And I decided to leave New York with the intention of coming back one day. But I started traveling, and 6 months later, I was in Cape Town, and I was like, I think this is good. I've traveled enough. And I was just trying to think about my next step. And I realized I don't really want to go back to New York. I kind of want to move somewhere else. And half my family is actually from here. So yeah, I decided to just buy a one-way ticket, and here I am.
Because of being a digital nomad, you're able to travel and you're able to kind of find a place that you wanted to stay. And that flexibility was obviously afforded by working online.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your business.
Yeah.
Kind of give me a 101 on what you do and how you got there. Just take it away.
Yeah. So I started designing in 2012. So when I was living in New York, as I said, I was working for a startup that had an online ordering platform for restaurants. And funny enough, we were in the Wix app market. This is way before the app market was huge. And we were getting a lot of leads from clients who wanted to install our app. And the thing is that they also needed a website. And a lot of these clients, these potential leads of ours, didn't have websites. So long story short, I started creating websites for mainly restaurants in New York City. And a lot of restaurants, I was selling them websites for $50 a pop, not really understanding the value of what a true website can do for someone's business. And I remember walking into the Wix Lounge at the time. It was a free co-working space run by Wix. And I met a few people there who were like, "You're selling websites for $50? Are you crazy?" And I was like, sorry, I don't know anything about this. And I got kind of familiar with Wix, with the platform, with the community there, which was at the time very thriving. I mean, it still is. It's I think now it's the Wix playground, so it's kind of changed a bit. And at some point I left that job and decided to go freelance and go full-time into designing websites. And Wix is really what kind of kicked me off, just because it's what I was familiar with. And I guess fast forward a few years later, we rebranded to Awaken Studio, which is our agency today. It was around the time that I hired my first employee. So, we're living in New York doing the whole agency thing. Eventually when the Wix Lounge closed, we moved into our own office. And that's around the time where I was like, you know what, let me change everything up and become a digital nomad. So I left and then, moved to Tel Aviv, as I said. And I've just been, COVID hit. And then I really kind of had this time where I'm not going anywhere, a lot of time at home to just really think about my business and what's the next steps for it. And we've really, spent a lot of time refining our services, I would say, and streamlining and just creating offerings that I am so happy with and that our clients love. And it was my COVID project, and we redesigned our website finally after many years. So now our agency is great. We have a 3-person team, so keep it lean, but like it that way.
Well, what do you charge now?
Yeah. So since my $50 days, I at some point, I think when I met those Wix folks, they were like, you have to charge more. I think I immediately did a jump to 1,000, and I was like very comfortable there for a while, for like, let's say a 6 to 10 page website. And then, as the time went on, I mean, those few years in New York City, we've kind of raised our prices to around 3,000 and then got very comfortable there. But since then, I have raised our prices to, depending on the service, we have a few different offerings, but I would say either like 5,000 is our main product offering, our more productized service, which we can get into. And then we have a custom website, which for bigger companies, bigger agencies who need, let's say, a little bit more, not hand-holding, but just a longer timeline and a more detailed process. So those websites started at around 8,000. So and all on Wix too, which is really awesome, because I know sometimes people will tell me like, you charge that much for a Wix website? I'm like, yeah, it's not, it's not the platform. It's actually what you create. It's the user journey. There's so much to a website beyond the platform itself too.
It's incredible. I mean, it's great to hear, and it's nice to hear that progression and how that's happened. And it seems like there's a few things there that I want to dig into. So you mentioned Wix, you mentioned it's not the platform, it's like the solution to the problem. Yeah. Platform is just kind of like a means to an end. So how you would define or how you would explain a productized service, and then tell me how you found out about it and how you use that now.
Yeah. So you're so right. I mean, that's essentially what led us to, like what you're explaining, led us to create a service that had a smaller timeline and followed the same framework. I think that's, when you ask what a productized service is, it's a service offering that has the exact same framework, right? So like our team knows it's a repeatable framework. This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. For every single offering, it's the exact same thing. And how we got there is, just like you said, we were doing these projects that were lasting us 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Like I think our longest project actually took 9 months, and I was just like, no, no more. And so I've done a few courses online, learned from other agencies. And I was another agency who also offered a productized service. I was like, you know what? I think this is a good idea. I should look into doing something like this. And a little over a year ago, I gave it a shot, and I didn't even have a page on our website for it. We had a client come to us, and she's like, I'm looking to build a website. And I was like, great. Do you want to sign up for our VIP website in a week? Like I had no material on it. And she's like, oh, what's that? I was like, oh, it's when we design you a website in 1 week. It's our new offering. And it thankfully, like knock on wood, I really honestly wasn't that prepared with how this service would run, right? She was really our guinea pig client. But we created a offering that essentially, as it sounds, it's a website in 1 week. From Monday to Friday, we design every single page of your website. We limit it to 6-page websites because, for larger scopes, of course, there's just there would be a cap to how much we can actually do. But what is nice about it is that it actually starts, the prep starts a month before that. So we do all the web prep, meaning help them with their content, right? We have a copy guide that they fill out. We have photo guides. We have all these things that help them through, and we send them all of this material. We get on a call with them. We dive deep into their business. So there is some level of customization there. It's not like they're, getting a template, but at the same time, right, it's following the same exact steps. So we need to make sure that we have everything ready from them before we jump into the design week. But then the design week looks, roughly the same. Monday, I know that I'm going into my design cave, aka this office. I'm designing all day. I'm getting the direction for the website down. So we're designing mainly the homepage, and then day 2, 3, 4, we're working on the inner pages. This is both me and my designer. And then by day 4, day 5, we're wrapping up the website, doing SEO, mobile optimization, anything that we need to kind of finish it up. And then Friday we either launch their website or maybe we'll soft launch it, and then they can announce it the following week. So it's been honestly such a game changer for us ever since we've launched it. And it's become our most popular service by far. When I talk about it in comparison to and then there's the custom website option, which is a 2-month timeline. They're like, oh no, it just sounds good to everyone to get your website done in a week.
What have the responses been from your clients with this offering?
People love it. I mean, it was like that first client originally that I realized she had such a good experience with us. And I truly like think back and I'm like, I feel like I don't remember any client who's gotten so much out of it, like, you know, working with us. And I was like, is it the client or is it the service? And then, you know, a second client and a third client. And then I realized, I was like, no, it's the service. I think what they really like is that there's a level of accountability that they're held to, because we have daily check-ins every single day of the design week. And so if we need something from them, you know, like we have our chat on Monday showing them, you know, talking about the design strategy that we're about to do. And then Tuesday we show them the homepage. But let's say we need something from them. They know that they have literally that day to get us something, and then we need it on Wednesday. So, you know, whereas let's say on a regular time frame, if you have a call with someone on a Tuesday and then you're going to touch base in a week, you know, they're going to forget. They're not like, you know, they won't be on top of it as if, you know that you're literally have a call with me tomorrow. You can't not do your homework. So I think that, and also just the fact that they have 1 week where they dedicate to this. I usually tell them, like, if you can take off work, or if you can kind of like lower your hours with like whatever it is that you normally do, great. I'm not saying like you have to take a whole week off of work, but I think just like the fact that they don't have to think about it. I know a lot of our clients have said that they've been in design processes in the past that have just taken months, and it's just so much of their time and their energy, and they feel tired by the end of it. And I think here, everyone, you know, we keep the momentum, both us and them. And I think that's like, we really end on this high of like, not even just like being excited that there's a website, but a lot of our clients are like, we have this like we miss our calls together, because they got so used to like our daily calls that they have what's it called? Like when you withdrawal from our calls.
Like, because the process is the same, the process is streamlined, because there are high expectations. How do you get more work from these projects? So like, you have this productized service offering, you get your clients, and you get more clients after you've finished a website, which is done.
So it's a great question as well. I would say word of mouth, 100%. We've always, you know, our biggest, you know, means to getting clients is always word of mouth. But I think ever since the VIP website in a week, that's really just even snowballed even more. I always, you know, and our parting with like a nice, we send them a success guide, we call it, basically like teaching them everything they need to know about their website, included a tutorial video. But part of that is also like, hey, if you know anyone like you who could benefit from a website, please, you know, feel free to connect us. We'd really appreciate it. So ever since we started doing that, and, you know, obviously leaving people off with such a good impression after they've worked with us, I feel like I really see direct correlations to, okay, we worked with this people. Oh, now we got like 3 referrals off of them. Like, we have some clients, she's wonderful. She's in New York. She has referred us since we worked together a year ago. Not even a year ago, even like 8 months ago. I think she's referred us like 7 people, and I'm just like, thank you. You know, they're excited to refer, because they want their friends to have a website just like them, and they want they want to share the good. And that's been really awesome. So I think definitely, like, ever since having that service, I've seen like an uptick in referrals. But we also like will get clients from Google searches sometimes. I think we still rank pretty high for Wix Designer NYC, which, because my domain name is .nyc, so I always used to rank for that. So that's also, you know, people search for Wix designers, that I tend to come up, which is good. But, and Instagram, you know, if you're listening to this, feel free to follow me on Instagram.
Yeah. Like, how do you use, as a web design agency, social media, or how do you market yourself? You know, how do you do that?
Well, I'm not great with marketing. I'll be the first to say that. I do have a decently consistent Instagram page, but, you know, it's like many of us small businesses, you know, you gotta sit and you gotta like work to create the content. So I don't post it, and I don't get on the stories, even though I wish I did sometimes. But, you know, I aim to create value in my posts, right? Teaching potential clients, maybe like things that they should look for in a designer, things that they should look for in their websites, like, top 3 things to make sure you have on your site. And I think that has helped us. And also just create it, we show off a lot of our clients' sites, and when we, create a post about our client, they reshare it. And that's also been really helpful because we have a lot of clients that have huge followings. And so anytime they reshare it, then, X amount of people will see it and start potentially following us.
Right.
And yeah, recently I've been kind of a bit more courageous and just like DM to people that I follow. I'm about to be working with a client. She's a stop motion artist, and I DM'd her and I'm like, I don't know. We had messaged each other a few times, like liked each other's stuff, and it was just like, I love what you do. I was like, do you have a website? And somehow that snowballed into like a more organic conversation. And we're working together in September. So I think don't be afraid of messaging people and starting conversations. Obviously, you don't have to like be salesy about it, but I think Instagram and other social media platforms, right? They're just there for you to connect with people, and you don't need to put so much pressure on it. Like I think like I'm all about the work-life balance, and I don't think I could handle like being on Instagram as much as like I see other people on the platform. I think I would lose it. So I keep myself to like a once a week post, maybe something like that. Yeah.
So it sounds like on social media, the people that you post for are essentially your clients, or the people that you want to be your clients. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, for sure. I think I see a lot of designers out there posting for other designers. Right? Like, here's like fonts you should be, like 10 fonts we love. And, my clients don't care about that. They want me to choose what fonts they should be using. And they just need to know why a website is important. And so a lot of our content is, about that, and about our processes and our services and how we make their lives easier, and how, I don't know, all the things that I feel like they would want to hear, because otherwise it's just like I'm just talking, and I would like to use my time for, to get clients, not just to be on Instagram and market to other designers, because that's not really the goal.
There's already a lot of noise as it is. So if you're going to contribute to, I wouldn't say to the noise, but like to the internet, it probably should be in some way, shape, or form impactful, and something that you don't feel like you're just wasting time, like you're just adding fluff, or you're actually adding some sort of value. And it sounds like from your perspective, you're adding value, and you're trying to add value to the people who are ultimately going to say, hey, I'd really like to book a website in a week with you, like book a VIP week. And you're like, that's how you close that loop. And then that person says, that was amazing. You need to hire them. And then the cycle continues, and you never are hard up for work.
Yeah, totally. And I think there's a saying that like there's like it takes 7 touch points to create a sale or something like that. And not that Awaken Studio has billboards or anything, right? We don't have that many touch points, but I feel like Instagram is a really good touch point. And when people will usually, I would say the first way people come across us is like their friend had a website designed by us. Oh, cool. Who, either they saw it on their Instagram post that like we created their website, or they saw it on the bottom of their website, whatever it is. But then they also interact with our content, and, interacting with our content for enough time gets them to realize, oh, wow, maybe I should also work with this person. So had we not, been on Instagram and been posting about, what we do and how we do it and all this stuff, it would have just been left there, where they would have seen that we created a website for their friend, and then that would be it. So it definitely helps in that sense. I wouldn't I'm not there with Instagram to say that we're, going and getting totally new clients who have never heard of us through Instagram. It's happened like twice. It's fine. It's better than nothing, I guess. But it's more like word of mouth. But then Instagram really just like helps kind of seal the deal, which is nice. Yeah.
There's something about like there's like a layer closer, perhaps. Like it's like you have more immediate access to, let's say, the service provider, the client, and the service provider can. There's like I don't know, like you can still be professional, but it's like you can kind of just like talk outside the office, so to speak. Like, whereas if the website, you're submitting a form, a request for proposal, or, I want some more information about the VIP week. It's like, you're kind of just like, hey, I saw your website and I wanted to submit, a form here, but I just had a couple of questions. It's kind of like, you can kind of like talk off the record or,
Totally.
outside the office, so to speak. It's kind of feels like that. There's a little more of a casual nature to it where people can see the person or the human behind the agency before they really get into relationship with the agency.
It's so true. And it's like all of that you're saying 100% for Instagram. And I think that that's true in general, even for web, like looping back to websites. When we redesigned the Awaken website, I made a decision. I was like, you know what? I think my face needs to be on my website. And it wasn't on it kind of was on the last one, but I feel like I needed to be a little bit more exposed on the new website design. So there's a lot more me and a lot more who's behind the studio and a lot more, we're people who really are passionate about, our team is really passionate about helping you and bringing you, to really like your next level in business. And it's not like we're just here to create a website for you, but we're here to like help you level up. And and they see like the mission behind what we do. And I think that also really helps. Like they get to know, right? Like obviously Instagram helps, getting them to know that there's a person behind this, but then like the website even pushes that to like that next level, because you can only say so much on Instagram, whereas on your website, you design it however you like, you say whatever you want on there. That's our spiel when we talk to anyone and they say, oh, but why do I have Instagram? Why do I need a website? And with a website, you can really create a journey and direct them through the pages and get them to contact you. That's the goal at the end of the day. And you really can, I guess, make that journey more effective on a website than you ever could on Instagram.
Totally agreed. Yeah. So then let's say for a busy freelancer who's like subcontracting out to people and they're busy, like they got work, they get custom work, they get client work, and it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and they're doing fine, but like they're kind of overworked and there's no through line, and they hear this and they're like, you know what? Some form of productized service sounds really appealing. And I get that a lot. I get people asking me, how can I productize my motion design business or my web design business or this and that? How would you recommend like getting started with that process? Like what do they have to start thinking about in order to start forming their own productized service so they can have that consistency? It's a great question. So I would say, first of all, think about the type of client you like to work with. Like think back to all of your clients and think about, who is it that I really like working with? Now take that and start to relate. You're like, okay, project A, project B, and project C. Those were all amazing projects. Is there a common thread between all of them? Or, maybe they have, a similar business model, or right? Like our VIP website in a week, I would say, is mostly geared towards service-based providers. We don't do a lot of corporate sites there. We don't do a lot of startups. It's really people who, have your homepage, your about page, your services page, right? Like that's a very big part of it. It's their services, maybe a blog, contact, that sort of thing. So I realized very quickly, I was like, okay, there is some sort of common thread. It's that they're all service-based providers, or at least like, let's say 90%. And then the next thing is that I thought about, I'm like, okay, let's go through the process of each of these projects and really think about like, what do all of these types of people that I'm trying to get to, hire us for the service, what do they need? They all needed help with their copy, right? So for every VIP website in a week, we have what we call a web prep session where we discuss their content and we create a framework and then we send them a copy guide and they fill that out, right? That's something that everyone needed. And when we've done that more with clients, we realized like, wow, they got a lot out of it. So, okay, that's part of the service. So what are the crucial things that you realize like are a must? And then, cancel out the things that just take a lot of time. So if there's, a part of your service that you really don't like and you offer it anyway, just don't offer it. If clients ask about it, just say it's not, it's not part of what we offer. Like for a time, we used to offer logo design, and I just realized that's not our strong suit. So we just don't offer it anymore. And it's like we really have niched down and focus on this thing that we're good at. And
yeah, so if you can, I guess to recap, think about the people you love working with and what kind of relates those projects and try to build a framework from there. And then once you've done it a few times, it gets easier. And now we have everything in like our SOPs, so our system, and
standard operating procedures.
Standard operating procedures. I'm mixing up the words. And it's really easy. So like our team can pop in and just look, and if we have a new team member, they can take a look at the process of how this service works. So that's been really helpful for us too.
Wow. That's so neat. And it's like, it makes it sustainable. It makes it even scalable. If you're like, you know what, we're going to pump some cash into ads or into webinar marketing or into whatever. And then let's say you get 10 times the amount of clients and you anticipate that coming. Well, now you know that you need to hire a couple extra people to handle the demand. But, you've got these SOPs, they can follow the instructions, you can have someone train them on it, you can raise the price by like $1,000, and then like all the economics work out. And now you've got this really steady, profitable, in-demand business that's just like on fire and running like a machine. And you can choose like, do I want it to be that big or do I like it this big? And you get to build the business that serves you and your lifestyle rather than the other way around.
Oh, absolutely. I could talk about that for hours, but ever since instilling this new offering, it's really nice. We book these VIP weeks every other week. So every other week we have a week where we can, let's take a step back. Let's like think about what worked well, what can we improve on, and it gives us time to not just work in the business, but really work on the business. And that's been amazing. And also just for like sanity, right? Like we can't overwork ourselves. We need to really just live a work-life balance. Obviously COVID's taught us that, but really just, having some balance in life and work is important. So yeah.
That's awesome. Karen, how do everybody watching and listening, like, how do we find out more about you? Where should we check out your work, and what should we be doing next?
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram because that's probably the only social media platform I'm really on. Awaken Studio _NYC, or check out our website, awakenstudio.nyc. I'm always, I love to connect with people, whether you're a fellow freelance designer or, agency owner, or, someone who is looking to hire a studio. We're here, and would love to be connected. So, looking forward to meeting some new folks.
That's awesome. Karen, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show and sharing all of your wisdom on this subject of productized services and running a web design agency. I really appreciate it. And I hope we get to do this again soon.
Yeah, sounds great. It was really nice. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, folks, for listening to that interview. Also, if you like this interview and you want to see more like it, you're going to want to watch this one over here. That one was a lot of fun too. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you in the next one.